All right. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? And it's not a question, it's a statement that's being made by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because America has been that hammer that has been plucking away and beating down the planet into submission, which is, a part of the history of how this devil was going to be ruling. Let's go real quick to Daniel 7:7. Now, this fourth beast we're going to read about is dealing with the ancient Roman Empire. But it also applies to America today, because America is nothing more than the ancient Roman Empire reincarnated, if you will. What America would be like, would be the capital, like Rome, and then the European Union, NATO and the European Union being its allies, as they were, or as the ancient Roman Empire was back in them days. Okay. So it says, Daniel 7:7, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible. This represented the ancient Roman Empire. But remember, the ancient Roman Empire fell 2,000 years ago and came back into power through America. You had Britain, that became a superpower. And then out of Britain came America, which America is the eighth head that came out of the seven. All seven. So America came out of those seven, that union of those seven nations. So the ancient Roman Empire was dreadful and terrible. And today you see that applied to America, being dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, because America has the strongest military might on the planet. There's no other nation that could match America, even though they're losing that power now. But at one time they had, and they still do have, a strong military. And it was this way because a part of their military and a part of their blessing was what? The sword, which was given to them by Isaac when he gave the sword as a blessing to Esau. It says, and it had great iron teeth, because teeth represent power. Iron represents, that's one of the strongest metals, if not the strongest metal out there. It said it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. So they were exceeding strong at one time. They were the strongest nation at one time, and they still have a very strong military. But now their power is dwindling because their influence in the world is dwindling. They have the world reserve currency, but you have a lot of nations that are joining up to push the dollar out of the way. And America went from being the top economy now to being the third in rank, next to China being number one and the European Union being number two. Now America fell to third in place. So they're losing their power on all levels. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and they had 10 horns. But now that they had the power over these nations, now they're starting to lose that power. And this is why we're reading in matter of fact, let's read on. It says, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. The 10 horns represent the 10 European Union. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, because these horns were what? Came out of so-called Europe, out of that bottomless pit. And from the midst of that came what? Another little horn. And who was that little horn that came up out of that? This was America. And it was small when it first first started out. It came to the so-called New World, the Western Hemisphere, to restart the ancient Roman Empire. And you see where it's grown to, from not having a foothold in America to taking over all of America, to taking over the whole world. And their military has increased exceedingly, to where everybody on the planet was scared of America at one time. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. That goes back in history, the American history. And behold, in his horns were the eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So pretty much this is America that was puffing at all these nations, talking shit, exalting themselves like they were the Most High, like they were Yahweh Shai, like they were the angels, like they put themselves in that power. No one else put them in that power. And now what the Lord is doing is he's systematically decapitating, systematically breaking America down. And that's why we read in the book of Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 22, it says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Why? Because this destruction is coming. And what's happening is the sounds of war are being sound in the background, with all these wars and wars and rumors of wars, mostly a lot of rumors, but then you have wars and proxy wars and these different types of wars that are happening, conflicts and all of that. But this is all gearing up for the end. And then you have these nations that are talking down to America now, as to one time they were kissing America's ass, most of them. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And eventually, this is going to be when America is totally destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. But now they're saying this in a sense as a taunt to them. And we're going to get back to this, but I want to go into this. So a brother sent me this earlier today. This is on MSM, Rachel Maddow, and it's Putin trumpets end of U.S. world power. Says Trump listens well. So Putin is trumpeting in the end of U.S. world power, because as a whole, America does not have the power that it had at one time. It doesn't have the influence that it had at one time. And Esau is losing power, and you could see it in their eyes. You could see it in their actions. And even this woman here, Rachel Maddow, you could even see when she's speaking about certain things that Putin's saying, that she's feeling, she's keeping it together because, she has to be the anchor for this thing. But you could see in her spirit and in Esau's spirit that they smell defeat, not in the not too distant future. All right, so let's listen to a little bit of this. Hopefully they won't strike me. If they do, the hell with it. Fuck it. You got to walk on eggshells with these devils, but hey, fuck it, man. At the end of the day, the word got to get out.
Few days. Quote, Vladimir Putin uses speech. You might have seen these headlines over the past few days. Quote, Vladimir Putin uses speech to herald end of U.S. hegemony. That was in the Financial Times. Also this one from the Huffington Post. Putin hails sunset of U.S. global domination due to mounting, quote, mistakes. Again, that's the Huffington Post. Also this one from ABC News, quote, Putin says U.S. dominance is ending after mistakes, quote, typical of an empire.
See, he said Russia President Vladimir Putin says U.S. dominance is ending after mistakes typical of an empire. And it's not really a mistake. It's really the Lord giving it to this dude, He's giving it to America, He's beating the brakes off of America, and jacking America up, Damn, okay, here we go. Let's go real quick to the book of Psalms, Barakatah Bashem El Shai. I almost forgot the precept that came to mind. I got so excited for a minute. Psalm 75:5. Lift not up your horn on high. I mean, what is your horn? Your power. Don't lift it up on high. Don't try to act like like you that dude. Speak not with a stiff neck, because this is what Esau does. They speak with a stiff neck because they are a proud man, neither keepeth at home. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So there is a list of empires that would rule to usher in the end of the world, and those 4 empires ruled. Now we're at the ending of the 4th empire, because remember the 4th empire died, or actually was wounded, and then it came back into power. It was resuscitated, so to speak, and now they're at the last end of their empire. And they're about to go down. But the Most High is the one that puts one down and sets up another. And the next kingdom that's coming is not going to go to Russia. It's not going to go to China. It's not going to go to any other nation, Singapore, none of them. It's going to come to the nation of Israel, the Israelites. And this is what we read in prophecy. And like brothers always been saying, and we've been saying, Esau always tries to get away from prophecy. They don't want to deal with prophecy because prophecy slices, cuts, dices their whole agenda, their whole mindset, their whole mind frame, their whole belief system. You know, it just cuts them down. So let's listen to a little bit more of this.
Those are the headlines. They were not exaggerating.
See? She's all,
in a speech a few days ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke at length about the end of America as a superpower and how grateful he is for that and how grateful the world should be for that. Quote,
yes, that's right. Why? Because when this devil goes down, what did the Lord say? Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 11. As a matter of fact, I start at 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. That's dealing with Esau's kingdom. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat, which is talking about the missiles, the nuclear fire from the missiles. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Why? Because Esau's kingdom is going to go down in 1 hour. And once America's done, that's it. That's their capital. Once America's done, the Lord is also going to destroy the land of Israel, and that's going to bring an end to Esau's rule. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And these are the things we're supposed to be speaking about. We're supposed to be speaking about the downfall of America. You know, Putin trumpets end of U.S. world power. And then this says that the prophets will rejoice when they see this happening. The prophets will rejoice when finally this place goes down. Just like Moses and the Israelites back then rejoiced when Egypt was Egypt went down and the Egyptian army and the Pharaoh were destroyed. They sang a song about it. So we're going to be happy, you know. Lord's will we be those men. It says, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. It says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. So what is this new heaven and a new earth? It's the same heaven, it's the same earth, but it's just going to be set up under the right order. Because we know, according to the scriptures, that the earth abideth forever. You can't destroy the earth because the Most High created the earth to service man. The Most High created earth for man to dwell in. So the earth is going to continue on forever. But what's going to happen is the Lord is going to renew it. He's going to refresh it. He's going to hit that refresh button, you know, and then it's going to come right back, but it's going to be done in righteousness because this time it's going to be set up in proper order. You know, and Elder Yashawamba mentioned, he mentioned a dream that he had. He said he's going to do a lesson on to where he saw himself and other brothers. I believe he said something along those lines that they were healing everything, you know, bringing the earth back to its proper the proper way it was supposed to be from the beginning, you know, and that's beautiful, man. So now let's go back.
Empires often think they can make some little mistakes because they are so powerful. But when the number of these mistakes keeps growing, it reaches a certain level they cannot sustain. Quote, a country can get the sense from impunity that you can do anything. This is the result of the monopoly from a unipolar world. Luckily, this monopoly is disappearing. It's almost done.
And that's it, baby. It's almost done. Hold up. Hold it now. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 22. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So we're living in a time where America's days are not going to be prolonged. They rule for far too long. They've been in power so long that they bought the insane thought, or they entertained the insane thought that they would never go down. But they're going down like a cheap slut on a Saturday night, you know? Inside joke.
It's almost done, by which he means we're almost done.
See, she's all messed up about that. It means we're almost, yeah, you almost done. E is going down, baby.
The Russian president then went on to brag about the fact that the president of this failing empire, this former power that is now almost done, that president does what Putin says. takes his advice and listens very closely to everything he wants.
All right, so I'm going to let you brothers listen to the rest of this because I don't, like I said, I'm trying not to get a strike on this channel, but if it happens, it happens. The hell with it. But, I put this in the description box. You brothers could watch it. I mean, if we go through the lesson and the Spirit hits me again to play some more, because this is some good, juicy information. But let's go to Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and they have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. They've been a mighty empire. America's been a mighty empire in the Lord's hand because the Lord is the one that set it up, that made all the earth drunken. And you see that all the earth is drunken. The Roman Catholic Church didn't make the whole world drunken, because if that was the case, everybody would be following the tenets of the Roman Catholic Church. You have many different religions out there. You have many different beliefs out there. You have atheists out there, but everybody as a whole, these different nations are all following behind the ways of America. So this wine that America put out there, this stale ass Babylonian juice that they put out there, the whole world drank, and they're all messed up now. They all got a hangover and they don't like the feeling. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, meaning they're bugged out, and they also pissed off too, but mainly bugged out because when they drank of this wine, they got caught up in the web of America. And there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no come on, man. It's no coincidence that when you look, let's see. Here we go. It's no coincidence that when you look at the back of a dollar bill, let me see, can we make this bigger? Oh yeah, sweet. When you look at the back of a dollar bill, what do you see here? These are all webs. See that? These are all webs on the back of a dollar bill. The talisman, it's a web. Because once you accept this, you get caught up and entangled in this web, the web of debt. And that web of debt messes you up. Because you get so entangled in it, there's no way to escape it. You see? And it's all throughout, really, that's the background of the dollar bill on the back side of it. It's all, all our webs, cobwebs. And when you hit a cobweb or an insect goes into a cobweb, it gets stuck and it can't get out. And what happens? The spider comes and sucks out the blood out of that insect. Well, this web here of debt is sucking the blood out of the economy of the world, America included. And the people are getting tired of it. These nations are getting tired of it. So they're opting out. They said, no, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. All right. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. So she went into cardiac arrest, so to speak, for lack of better words. America is in stage 6 cancer, if there's a such thing. They're pretty much at their deathbed. But the only thing that's propping it up is the media, the belief system of the world, that they think that America's still in power. But the Lord is slowly but surely taking his place down. And this is why they're trying to get rid of all forms of truth. Hebrew Israelites being one of their top priorities. Alternative media and all that other stuff. Yeah, but this truth here is the most devastating to Esau ever, because this truth here is real. And they seeing the effects of how this word is taking place just by us speaking the word. That's the only thing we're doing, is speaking the word, and it's busting Esau up, man. It's hitting him to the fifth rib, man. It's hitting that like that fight that happened Saturday night. I forget the two fighters' name, but the one dude kept hitting the guy in the liver, and he kept going down, So that's the Most High keeps hitting America in the liver. He keeps hitting it with that liver shot. And pretty soon the Lord's going to hit it with the final blow that's going to knock America on her ass, and it's going to be done. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Why? Because she can't be healed. This wound is incurable. That's coming directly from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. So these nations are going to pack up and get the hell out of Dodge, because the ones that don't, guess what? They're going to be destroyed in this country with the missiles. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. So the Most High is remembering which he never forgot, but he's remembering the iniquity of America. You know, because when you go back in history and you go back to the Canaanites before we went up into that land, what did the Lord tell Abraham? He said, they're not going to be able to come into this thing until the fourth generation because of the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. So the Lord left them for a period of time, let them do what they had to do. Then he came back and revisited them. He came to revisit them when their iniquities were over the top, when they came to a full. I had another precept that came to mind. Lord's will will come back in the Apocrypha, but let me go to this one here. All right, so let's go to this one. Revelation 18 and 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquity." So it's time for the Lord to bring judgment upon this place. Why? Because this place has an end. I believe that was it. I believe this was the scripture that came to mind. 2nd Ezra 9. He answered me then and said, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." And why is he going to visit it? Because now he's going to bring forth the plagues and the destruction and the devastation and the judgment that he has spoken of years ago. Or Frampton, throughout the apostle. Frampton, he was hitting that guy, man, so hard in the liver, man. Woo! He was tearing that liver up. And homeboy kept going down. So that's what what the Most High is doing to America. He's hitting America with them body shots, man. And pretty soon he's going to hit it with the deadly uppercut, and that's it. This place is going to be finished. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Because the Lord created the earth, set up the nations on it, gave them their script, so to speak. They had to play out their script on the planet, and eventually there was going to come a time when each one of them fell. So we're coming down to the very end where the last empire that was ruling on the planet is going to fall down. And the Lord said that Esau is the end of the world. So we know that being at the end of the world now, this last empire is being ruled by who? By E. Because the Lord said that would be the last empire to rule. And this is why this truth is such a threat to these people. It says, "For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." So when you have something that you start a project, that project has an end. And when you start the project, you see the beginning of it, and then when you're nearing the end of the project, you say, "Dan, this is almost done." What do you say? "I'm gonna put the finishing touches on it." So the Most High is putting the finishing touches on America before he actually throws the ass down that hole. "Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." And we're seeing the effects and the signs happening right now. They're speaking right now. This place is finished. It says, "And every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby you have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning." So the elect are going to be delivered, and the elect will be doing the work of the Lord. The elect will be chanting down and speaking about the destruction of the very place that the Lord said that was going to be destroyed. That's what they will be doing. Those are the works. All right. So going back to Revelation 18 and 5, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities." And this is also, they've even polluted space, with their garbage. But the Most High is remembering everything that this devil has done, and he's revisiting them. Because back then, like as we spoke about the ancient, the Amorites, the Canaanites, they had to do a certain amount of iniquity and wickedness before the Lord can actually come and take them out of that land and give us that land. Because the Most High is a power of judgment. See? So he does his will. All right, so now let's go back to Jeremiah. Okay, that was it on that. Let's go to Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So we're coming into the stage now that once the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, is fully implemented, then the Lord is going to, right now he's amassing the nations, their armies over there in the Middle East and those surrounding areas. But when that chip is pushed, then World War III is really going to get on, and then that's when the end is going to come. So right now they're being prepared, and this is why they're all getting the technology that America has. They're all getting that state of the art, superior weapon technology from these other nations that have it already. And these other nations, they ain't playing with America no more. They pushing that dollar and pushing America to the curb. It's like when it's like when you have a prostitute when she's young, she look good, she got her body's all intact. But as she's getting older, men don't flock to her as much. And especially when she gets too old, they don't want to deal with her no more. So now you got too old, baby. So America is that old ass hoe that's about to go down that hole. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So in other words, take the money that you use for agriculture and invest it into your weaponry. Why? Because World War III is coming, which is the war to end all wars, which is Armageddon, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, as the scriptures call it. And we're quickly coming to that point. Then it says, let the weak say, I am strong. So these weak nations that at one time America could puff at are no longer weak, because they have not only the superior military technology, but they also have nations like Russia and China and others backing them. You see? So America can't just roll up and do what it wants to do. But what's gonna happen is them gutter rats, them A's over there in the land of I are gonna cause something to happen to draw America into this final war. Because the least of the flock shall draw them out. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So the Lord is gonna at the same time that this war is going on, the Lord is going to cause Yahushua and Michael and the angels to come down and get busy also. And that's going to be it. Once you see Yahushua cracks the cloud, that's the end. That's the end. All right? So now let's listen to a little bit more of this and we get a couple more precepts.
This is from the write-up of his speech in the Financial Times. Quote, Mr. Putin said President Donald Trump had listened to his arguments and was not impervious to advice, as suggested by some U.S. media. The ABC News coverage covered that part of Putin's speech in terms that were a little more blunt. Quote, the Russian president also defended President Donald Trump, saying he didn't agree with characterizations that Trump only listened to himself. Quote, maybe he acts like that with someone else, but in that case, they are to blame, Putin said. I have a completely normal and professional dialogue with him. And of course, he listens.
Now check this out. We read this earlier. Russian President Vladimir Putin says U.S. dominance is ending after mistakes typical of an empire. And like we said, they're not mistakes. It's the Lord causing them to do these things. Why? Because the Lord is orchestrating this symphony. This is a symphony. The Lord is orchestrating this symphony and this movie the way he wants it to play out. And this is why America is doing the things that it's doing. Just like the ancient Roman Empire did all type of madness, devalued their currency just to be able to pay for these expensive wars and to keep their soldiers happy. They had to devalue their coin. And in order for them to be able to maintain their empire, they had to conquer more and more. So they needed more and more soldiers, and they kept spreading out further and further to plunder these different nations, a lot of those Germanic tribes. But what happened was that was what brought their own undoing, because their military got spread too thin. And that's how the Lord, one of the ways that the Lord was able to bring them down. Their military being spread over too thin, the economy, and at the end of it all, it was the end of their empire, the time for them to fall. Let's go real quick to Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So if you're a prophet, this is what you're going to be speaking about. You're going to be prophesying against great kingdoms, against many countries. And what are we going to be prophesying? Of wars, of evil, and of pestilence. The wars, the evils, the different commotions and chaos that's going to take place, and pestilence. The pestilence include sicknesses, viruses, bacteria, different things of that nature, and ultimately the nuclear missiles, which is the final plague or pestilence that the Lord is going to use to destroy this place. All right. So let's go back, listen to a little bit more.
I see that he reacts to his interlocutor's arguments. So this guy, running this failing power that's almost over, he comes when I call.
See, she's all upset. She's all down in the spirit, She's trying to keep a stiff upper lip because that's how Esau is. They're proud, so they're not going to let you know that they're saddened by this. But that's Esau is a good actor, and that's what they're good at. They got to keep that stiff upper lip.
He does what I say. That was a few days ago. That speech from Putin was Thursday of last week.
You can see she's all messed up.
The following day, the U.S. Department of...
She had to fight back them tears. Fighting back them tears. Salaki, brothers. Oh, really, it was holding back them tears. I changed the lyrics.
Justice unsealed a new indictment charging a 44-year-old Russian national for allegedly being the paymaster, the head accountant for an ongoing multi-million-dollar effort run by and funded by an oligarch close to Putin that was part of the Russian government-directed effort to mess with our election to help Trump in 2016. The new indictment says...
And these devils got a nerve to talk about to sow division when that's all they've done here in America and throughout the world. The Willie Lynch letters tell you that. How they pinned the dark-skinned Jakes against the light-skinned Jakes, so on and so forth. They're the ones that sow division, but when somebody does it to them, they get upset. Goddamn devils. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's start at the first verse. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. And you seeing that these devils are scrambling, trying to get their situation tight and together, And you have the Israelites that are running also to get themselves together because they see, the ones that are part of the elect, they see that this place is going down. They see that these prophecies are speaking. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. And see, this is the deal. The scripture said, let's get real quick. I believe that's Songs of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 4. It says, I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you stir not up, nor awake my love until he please. So the Lord has a certain particular time where things are going to be stirred up. Things are going to be awoke, so to speak, and brought to pass. So the Lord said, don't try to awake my love until he please. Don't try to stir him up. But now the Lord is pleased to awake these prophecies that were spoken of old in the ancient times. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 3 and 1. It says, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Lord, I have heard thy speech. What is the speech? These prophecies. And was afraid. Why? Because these things that are coming are very detrimental. And even the prophets, they got sick. They prayed to the Lord. And they say, woe is me. Who shall deliver me in those days? Because it's very devastating what's coming. It says, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, revive thy work in the midst of the years. Meaning when the time has come, revive your works. Let your prophecies take hold and come to pass. As we read in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, it says, let's see, verse 5, 2 Ezra 9 and 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. So these effects, these signs, these tokens that we see, these prophecies speaking, this is the words of the Most High awaking and starting to do what the Lord said, because he had a certain set time that it was going to happen. That's why in the beginning it says, measure thou the time diligently in itself. Why? Because there's a appointed time for these things to happen. Let's go back. It says, O Lord, revive thy works in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. And wrath, remember mercy. So when the time comes, revive your prophecies, let your prophecies take place. And when this devastation comes, remember mercy upon us that have been doing your work in this wrath. Because it's gonna be devastating to your ear and to your life. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And right now we're seeing it speak. It says, and not lie. Why? Because the Lord said he's not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Have I spoken and shall I not make it good? So the Most High is going to make good on his word, because his word is his bond. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because at one time it was tarrying. But it wasn't because it was tarrying because the Lord was dragging his feet, so to speak. It was tarrying because it wasn't time. Stir not up my love until he be pleased. Matter of fact, let's get real quick. Romans chapter 9, verse 22. It says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? So the Most High is suffering the wrath, the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, which is who? That's Esau. That's E. Those are the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. So the Lord is being long suffering, but now it's the vision is not tarrying anymore. It's starting to speak. So that's why it says, wait for it. Because you can bank on the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but once it starts speaking, once the Lord says, okay, that's it, let this thing go, then it's gonna roar, it's gonna yell. Let's go to Revelation chapter 7 and verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth. Why are they holding the 4 winds? What do the 4 winds represent? It represents the destruction. And they're holding that back. Why? Because even though it's almost there, it ain't fully there. So once those angels back up off it and let those winds and that destruction fly, that's it. It's over. You know? They'll let certain things go through because those are part of the prophecies that had to be played out at that time. But when it's time for the whole shebang to go down, the whole shit house to go down, they're just gonna back up off it and let it go. That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. That's that Thawah. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. And this is, once this is all said and done, that's it. Elder Apostle Torah said he believes that the 144,000 are sealed. I concur with that, because this word has been going out strong on YouTube, and even before that the word was going out, but since YouTube it's been almost 13 years and this thing has preached worldwide. It remains to be seen, but it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense, because why are all these things happening? Why is these prophecies coming so rampant and so heavy and so quickly? Because the Lord said that once his servants were sealed, then the destruction is coming. See, so all that's needed now is for the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, to be fully implemented, and then everything else is just going to speed up real fast. All right, so now let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. But now what you're seeing is you're seeing these nations that are cursing America out and putting her in their place. Right here, Vladimir Putin uses speech to herald end of U.S. hegemony. Putin hails sunset of U.S. global domination due to mounting mistakes. There was another one. See if it comes up real quick. Here we go. Russian President Vladimir Putin says U.S. dominance is ending after mistakes typical of an empire. This is the Most High causing these things to happen. All right. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell. So pretty much they're the ones that have gone throughout the planet Earth and enlarging their desire. Here it is. Shit don't belong to you, but you just come and just take shit from people. That's all the ease. You know, the so-called Americans, the British, you know, the French, you know, the Greeks, the Romans, you know, all of them devils. They've been going around the earth taking shit. But that time has come to an end because the nations are standing up now. They're not letting you be the bully of the block anymore. And is as death and cannot be satisfied because no matter how much they have, they can't be satisfied. You know, and another title came to me earlier, which I wrote down, which I want to do a lesson on. You know, dealing with that blood that these devils, you know, they have an insatiable appetite for blood. So Lord's will, I could put something together on that and do another lesson on that. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So he's the one that's going around policing the whole earth. Like, who the fuck made you? Who the fuck made America the policeman of the earth? You're going to go to a country, you're going to tell them, nope, you can't enrich this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't put an embargo on this, you can't put an embargo on that, you can't sell that, you can't sell this, you can't. Who the fuck are you? You can't have this type of weapon, but you got it, but they can't have it. You know, let's take Xerxes for instance. Xerxes was going around to different countries and said, look, we're about to go to war, but you can't have these types of weapons. You can only have this amount of men on the battlefield. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't sell in this region or you can't sell in that region. Imagine how them nations would have looked at him like he was nuts. But these devils have been in power for so long, they've actually bought their bullshit. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? So they're taking a parable against him. And this you could say also, this is like a parable that Putin is taking against these devils. They're saying, look, your empire is coming to an end. And this is prolific because this is the Lord saying these things. The Lord is the one that's bringing this devil down. And the Lord said in Exodus, the 15th chapter, I'm trying to remember the wording. Was it Exodus 15? No, Exodus 14. Just bear with me real quick. I'm gonna see if I could find that saying. What was it? Just bear with me 1 second, brothers. Exodus 14. I was reading it the other day where the Lord said he was going to use Pharaoh just bear with me 1 second. Here we go. Exodus 14:4. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, meaning after Israel, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh. Because what is one of the greatest things, you know, that when you go to war, what is one of the greatest? There's two things that are great when you go to war. The first, I mean, of course, to win the war, but the first thing is to try to take down the king of the other nation, or to be put to death by the hands of a great warrior. In this case, the Most High is saying he's going to be honored upon Pharaoh, because when he takes Pharaoh down, his name is going to be lauded even greater than it already is. And this is what brought that news that spread throughout the whole known world at the time about the Most High, that he's the one that brought Pharaoh down. And this is why those nations didn't want any of us to be in any of their lands, nowhere near them, not even passing by their lands, because they were afraid. So the Most High said, I'm going to be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, all his armies. When the Most High destroyed them. But first he had to harden them. So remember, back then they had horse and buggy, chariots, spears, lances, swords, shields, helmets, armor. But today they got missiles, tanks, planes, helicopters, so on and so forth. So when the Lord takes this devil down, it's going to be a great devastation. And this is why this devastation is going to make the devastation of Egypt fail in comparison. Because it's going to be in the background compared to this new deliverance and this new destruction. And upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord Yahweh. And they did so. So it's going to be beautiful, man. So going back to Habakkuk 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? You see? So these things that are happening is pretty much the nations rising up and cursing Esau out. Cursing out the E's of America. The American E. And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And ever since they really got their claws into the American economy, fully got in it, because they tried twice before through two central banks. But the third one, which is the Federal Reserve, they really got their claws in. And what's happening is they're lading themselves with thick clay and thick debt. And this is why you have the back of the dollar bill, which has all of these different has these cobwebs on it, because this represents the how debt entangles you, and you can't get out of it. It's like being in quicksand. You get in quicksand, the more you try to squirm and get out, the quicker you sink. With a cobweb, the more you try to get out of the cobweb, the more you sink. So you're trying to get out of a debt with another debt. So you're trying to get out of one cobweb to go into another cobweb. You see? So this is the entanglement of debt that is taking place throughout the planet Earth. And the nations are tired of it. They're tired of holding America's hands. They're tired of propping America up. They're tired of them, no matter how hard they try, still being in debt, still falling. Their economy is doing pretty good, or doing very good, and they have to keep coming back to patch up this hole of debt through the American dollar. So they pushing that shit out. It's going down, baby. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? And eventually these nations, they're going to get tired of America's shit, and they're going to destroy this place. Your allies included, your European Union allies included. They're going to get tired of your shit. Because America really runs NATO. America runs NATO. You have all these different nations in there, and they're supposed to come to an agreement collectively. But America, if America wants to go left and they all want to go right, they're going left. They ain't going right. They're going to the left. And eventually they're going to get tired of this hole. And awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Yeah, because eventually you're going to be destroyed. And whatever goods they have over there, whatever money they owe you, they ain't going to owe you shit. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So now we're coming from the time that America got into power and started to police the earth until now. These people that are here are the remnant that are left of all these nations that you spoiled. And now they're going to spoil you because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So all of these things are happening to you because this is the Lord paying you back. The chickens are coming home to roost. You reap what you sow. You reap nothing but death, violence, destruction, thievery, rape, rob, murder on the planet. Guess what? That's what you're going to reap back. It says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. So they've desired, through evil covetousness, the goods of other nations so that they can set themselves up in a high position, so that they can have that nest egg, you know, to be able to to be able to be financially sustained in these treacherous times that are coming financially. You know what? Let's type in nest egg. Let's see what comes up. Let's see, nest egg definition. A sum of money saved for the future. A real or artificial egg left in a sum of money saved for the future. So that's a sum of money saved for the future. So this nest egg, the Lord said that they did this through this evil covetousness. So what did they do? They stole all the goods and the riches of the world. You have something called the economic hitman, which Elder Inap did a lesson on it, which I got to get to it. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I'm not sure if he did a lesson on it or if he actually posted up the actual video of the economic hitman, and then he just posted scriptures, you know, on top of everything that was being said in the video, because I haven't watched the video yet. But that's what they do. They send economic hitmen. I believe his name was Dan Perkins, if I'm not mistaken, and he will go and meet with high-ranking officials, presidents, you know, different leaders, and offer them money to sway their opinions and their thoughts and their legislation to American opinion and legislation. And if they refused, then he would move out, and then the real hitmen will come in. I'm not sure if they were called jackals or something like that, but the real hitmen would come in and would assassinate that particular president or leader and set up a puppet up in his stead that was going to go along with America. And what these nations do is they sell out their country so that they can live better. But eventually what's going to happen is they're going to be affected by it, because once Esau don't need him no more, what he do? He kills him. Locks him up. Look at Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and all them. You know? They didn't need him anymore. And what they did was they started trading oil in gold, I believe it was. And what happened? They took him out. So these devils are treacherous, man. It says that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Yeah, because they know a financial crisis is going to come, a real financial hell upon the earth, which is going to have them. One of the reasons why they're going to push that microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So they want even John Todd said this. He said that they want to crash the economy, even their own businesses, but they're going to be so well off that they're going to be able to sustain this crash because they have an agenda. And as long as somebody is self-sufficient, they can't have a rule or domination over them. And they want total submission. This is why they want to inject everybody with that microchip, which is the mark of the beast. Because when they put that chip in everybody, that makes a person a perpetual slave. That ain't nothing more than a modern day oil. You know? And that chip will be total submission to the international bankers and their one world government, the one world order. And that's what they want. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people. And the main people you've cut off is the nation of Israel. But don't think that you're not going to pay for all them nations that you've killed and destroyed. Dropping them bombs on Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and all of that. You're going to pay for all of that too. But the main people you're going to pay for is the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, for what you did to them. You should have never raised your hand against us, devil. Now you got to pay. But now you don't want to pay. That's a real hole right there. You know, they've done all this dirt on the earth, and now when it's time to pay, they don't want to pay. Now they want to just fall back and say, no, you know, they just want everything just to continue on the way it's been without them having to pay. Well, the Lord has a different opinion on that. Let's go real quick to Jeremiah 49 and 12. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. So we drank. We drank of this cup. Slavery, oppression, being in the slums, the ghettos, the reservation, you know, the favelas, the shanty towns, being the at the bottom of the totem pole, being laughed at, talked shit about, ridiculed, made mockery of. Now is your turn. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? See, we're the people of the Lord. We're royalty. We're the Most High's inheritance. And he brought us low and beat us down. So you think you, a piece of shit like you, a vile person like you, is going to go unpunished? Are you nuts? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Nahum 1 and 3. You're delusional, E. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power and will not at all acquit the wicked. So you're not going to be acquitted. There's not going to be an all so-called white jury to acquit you. You're not going to pay off the judge to acquit you. Because the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, are the ultimate judges. And your judgment is in the book. And now you got to pay. Sip it down, man. We had to. Now it's your turn, baby. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, just pull out the track record. Pull out the track record, man. What have you been trekking, man? Woo, track record. Track record. The best recorded performance in a particular track and field event at a particular track. The past achievements or performance of a person, organization, or product. And what have been your past achievements and performance? Well, let's see. Robbery, rape, murder, deception, you know, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So that's what you got to look forward to, man. Let's go back. Where are we at? Obadiah. It says, it shall be done unto. So as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. So whatever you did, it's going to be done unto you. So if you didn't do nothing, don't worry. But you're still going to go into captivity anyway. Because the elder shall serve the younger. And the nations were created, the world was created for our sakes. So even if you didn't do anything, you're still going into captivity. But your track record speaks a different story. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Why? Because the children shall not pay for the fathers, and neither shall the fathers pay for their children. You're coming back in the reincarnation to pay what you did. You've been here many times. Now it's time to pay. For as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. So everything you did to the children of Israel, that's what you're going to drink. And you're going to drink continually until you finish paying to the last bit. Just like you'll lock a Jake up for life for stealing a sandwich or for stealing some bullshit, and you make him pay to the you have that man in jail for 50 years over stealing a sandwich. You're going to have to pay to the very last bit. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down. And you're going to swallow down, man. And right now, everybody looks at you, you know, these so-called prestigious E's out there, you know, around the world. They have, royalty and all that. They looking like they're the royalty, like they're the people that, the greatest people on the planet, which are nothing but the devil that the Bible speaks of. Just like you had that at one time, it says, and they shall be as though they had not been, because you're going to be a slave. Slave, get this, and slave, get that. Inside joke. But you're going to be a nobody in the kingdom. How about that? But upon Mount Zion, not all nations, shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness. The house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And we're going to get everything that you got. It's going to be a great transfer of wealth. So let's finish up here. It says, thou hast consulted, back in Habakkuk 2:10, thou hast consulted shame to the house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. So pretty much the Most High is going to bring destruction and devastation upon you. The writing is on the wall. E is going down. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Your kingdom has been numbered, it has been weighed, and it has been found wanting. So you're finished, E. You're about to go down in the worst way. This is going to be the worst devastation ever that has ever happened to a nation on the planet Earth. So that's what you got to look forward to. Total devastation and destruction. And this is what happens when you disrespect the Most High, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai, His angels, and His men. And you're going to get it, boy. You're going to get it, boy. You're going to get it. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, just pull out the track record. Pull out the track record, man. What have you been trekking, man? Woo, track